Hey everybody. So what I want to talk to you about with this PowerPoint is PowerPoint. I know that there is the other video I posted which walks you through some basic do's and don'ts for PowerPoint, but I want to make this one for you because this is specifically about our class and your assignment. So if you go to the Blackboard page, you'll see that now we have a PowerPoint template. And if you click on that, you can go ahead and download it. It's very advanced. Trust me when I say it, as you'll see. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. There it is in all its glory. What a template. It looks very plain, and it is. That's because you have some leeway here. But what you will notice down in the notes section are some ideas or really guidelines on what should go where. And so that hopefully will be helpful. What I advise you to do is go ahead and split your screen if you have that capability. I don't know if I can with this video. Yeah, good. To where now I have my outline and my blank PowerPoint. And let's walk through these slides and just look at what each one should be. So first is blank. That is actually going to just be blank. That one is optional for you, but I like it, as you heard in the other video if you've seen that one already. If not, definitely go check it out. Not going to tell you to smash that like button or subscribe. Please don't. It won't be up that long. The next slide is your attention getter. Whatever you're going with for the attention getter, you can add images here. You could do more than one slide if you'd like. It depends on your approach to the attention getter and what would work. Then you've got the title slide, very traditional. Next up is a preview slide. Then you've got main point 1, the problem or the need. Main point 2, satisfaction or plan. Main point 3 is visualization. Then you've got the review of main points. You've got your closure, and that gets you back to your attention getter, and then the call to action. So that is the entirety of the PowerPoint. Now, what we are going to do with this video is go back to our outline here and make our PowerPoint that we would normally do this in class together. But obviously, since that's not happening, we will make it work here. Let me get out of this mode actually and let's open Chrome. Okay, so as you see here, our attention getter, let's zoom it in a little bit, was about Reese, a college student who wanted to change the world. He wanted to experience a music festival. It was a hot night. He was no stranger to taking some Molly, but this was different, and he felt strange and passed out. So let's jump over to Chrome and Google some things. Let's say young college student, very smart. Let's see what we get. Okay, that looks like a variety of strangely appropriate options. How'd that get in there? Anyway, let's see. What you don't want to do is use one that has a watermark on it. So definitely stay away from that. The name Reese is, he can go male or female, and so it doesn't matter what you choose. Let's go with this one maybe. What is the size? 840 by 473. That's not small, but it's not massive. You will want to be aware of the size of the image that you're using. This one's much larger, and larger is better because it will expand better without becoming blurry. You probably know this. So I'm just going to copy this image and go back here, main point 1, and put it in. Actually, I'm sorry, that should be on the next slide. We'll cut it there and we'll move it here. Now, since in the story I'm saying that he was young and wanted to change the world, this works for that. But then, he wanted to have fun. There was, something that happened. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new slide here and come back up and let's search for drugs and dancing at a music music festival. See what sort of images we can find here. Let's go with maybe if it's large. That's not very large. I've already got an image of the person, so I don't want someone else up close, but maybe something that represents dancing and drug use at a music festival. That one's not very. How large is this? Again, I'm looking at sizes. Now, I know that you can, and you probably, again, know this already. You can get a little more specific. I'm going to do a large image and see if we can get some very specific things. What is this one? It's bigger. Ba-da-bum. I don't know. She's got some drug info there. Again, play around with this until you find what you really like. I could spend all day looking at this. I know it's thrilling to me. Let's just use this one. Okay, here we go. This should expand out pretty well. And it does. So, and that's about as far as we're going to go with it. So let's just go ahead. If you get to the point where you're almost covering the slide, but you don't want to stretch it any further, go ahead and click on the background if possible. And what you'll see over here should be, well, that's about the picture, not the background. I want to, whoops, there it was. There we go. I want to make it black. That way, that picture will just sort of melt into that. And it will look fine over here. Let's take a look just to make sure that it will look that way. Yeah, no problems there. Okay. So next up, we have our title slide. So we want to talk about drug use and music festivals. And then Carl Brown is our class sample. Now, as you've already obviously noted, this is a white background. It's very plain, and I honestly, it doesn't matter to me if you use a particular design. I mean, at this point, we can look at some different options and probably find some that we like, maybe that would work just fine. For example, let's go to design and look at this one. I mean, that would still be fine. That would work. This would work fine. You don't want to be too flashy, too over the top. If you've got sort of maybe a set design that you go to if you use PowerPoint a lot, as long as it's not something way out there, like I'm not crazy about that, but that's the one that the speech lab uses. We use different color schemes. It's that one. So I wouldn't use that one just because it's what I'm used to seeing at work. That's sort of a busy background. I would stay away from that. That could work. Maybe that would go with the theme of the speech, right? I mean, it sort of feels like flowing colors, and that would seem to work for a music festival speech. Let's go with that one. But remember that you can change the color palettes up here if you'd rather have that. Definitely like the black better. Do we want this one or this one? I'm gonna go with this one. All right. Now, what you'll notice here, just because Microsoft says this is a good idea, you may want to put in your own judgment here. So we've got drug use and music festivals hanging on at the end. So you can try to stretch this out if you want to. If you want to put things on a single line, we see that it works. That's how it would look when we're finished with it. It would go end to end. We can change the font size if we want to. You can change this information or its placement. You probably, again, know all of this already. I'm just saying for our class purposes, feel free to move it around if you want. If you are going to stack it, Let's go ahead and move that because it doesn't look bad, but it's definitely crammed in there a little. If you're going to stack it as evenly as you can. And so this, let's center it, is probably what I would recommend. Something to that degree. Now, it looks off because the box isn't centered. So double click the box, go to Arrange, Align, and Center. That looks better. Same idea with this box. I think this one may already be centered, but we'll double check. It is. Okay, so that will work for this. Now we have the preview of main points. Don't just put preview for a title. I would put something like topics to cover. You could say something like today's talk or variety of things, as long as you don't just put preview. Then we will go and find what our 3 main points were as a reminder. Whoops. Let's go back here, and then I think we can do this. Yeah. Drugs and overdoses, safeguards against overdoses, and improving festival experience. Okay. Drugs and overdose, safeguards, or just safety, and then festival experience. Okay, simple enough. Drugs, safety. Let's say future festivals. That still gets to the point. Now, of course, we don't want to leave it like this. If you've already seen the other PowerPoint video, you know that this isn't what we want. And even if you haven't, it still probably looks bad. So I'm going to go ahead and blow this up. Let's see what it looks like here. What you want to be careful about, I think that's not too big, especially if we grab it and then let's space it out to like a 3. You know what? That's a pretty good size. You don't want this font to be larger than your title area font. Then we need to come up with an image that will go here and not one that just seems randomly selected. While we're here and we have some of these, let's just get one of these. Let's see, that'll work. Let's grab it. Okay. Now let's drop it in. We can shrink that down. Again, shrinking is not a problem. You just don't want the audience to squint to see what's going on with your image. You, again, definitely don't want them to wonder why you picked that image. Now, this doesn't have to be exact by any means, but if you can sort of center this with your text, that's a good idea. And that's close. I mean, you can see the distance between the edge and the bullet, and the edge and the bullet, up and down. It's close. It'll work for our purposes. Let's go ahead and go to the first one. So we had drugs, but now we're going to go ahead and call it drugs and overdose. That was more specific to what we were going to discuss in the outline. So let's go down there and we'll see that we have death statistics, we have a police state, and we have shutting down a festival. Now, don't lose sight of the fact that this is a Monroe's motivated sequence speech. What I mean there is that this is your problem. And so when you describe it, even in the PowerPoint, you'll want to make sure that you clearly express it as a problem. So death rate, police state, and then shutdown, I think would be a good way to go about our font or our text here. So death rate, police state, and shutdown. Shutdown. Is that what we said? Let's go back and make sure. Shutdown. Yeah, it's one word, but that's okay. It sounds the same when you read it. Now, what did we do with the other one? Because we want these to match as much as possible. So this became a 28 point font. And we can go back here, make this a 28 point font. And then we'll go ahead and spread it out to 3.0 like before. And that is pretty close to what we had. Now, we need an image here. So let's look up police state and see what we find. If I could type today, or any day, as you know. A police state, images. Okay, here we can look at a variety of pictures. We've got options. We want it to be fairly large. That's clearly from an Asian country. We have an audience in America. This may be useful if it's large enough. Let's see what it looks like. That's kind of impactful. Copy the image. Oops. Back here. And paste. Yeah, we can make that work. Let's go ahead and close that out so we can see it better. And again, we'll try to get it somewhat lined up. That's good. We don't want too much blank space here in the middle, but that should be just fine. Okay, not sure what that is doing, so we're going to take that out. But this is your satisfaction or your plan. And I believe our second main point, safety or safeguards against OD. So let's say that we want increased safety. That's our plan. Well, that's at least the idea we're trying to achieve through a plan. What we'll need to do now is go back and figure out what exactly that plan was. So we said we were going to make posters, we were going to create safe zones, and we were going to use mobile apps. Okay. Educational, wow. Posters. We had safe zones and mobile apps. And again, make sure that we get things matching 28 and a triple spread. That's it. Okay, now safe zone may be something that we can find. Let's see what that brings us. Safe zone. Okay. Clearly we have some things that will work. What size is this one? So that's fairly small. Now these may grab your attention. Of course, you probably know that that's talking, that symbol there is, it's safe for the LGBTQ community to be who they are in that area, and that's great, but that's not what we're focused on here. So we will go for a more generic physical safety feel. So this should be good. Let's see if we can make this work. Copy the image, switch it over. See how it looks a little larger. I like that one because it has the black tone. The yellow obviously jumps out. That will work just fine. Okay, next up, we had the visualization, and that was, better festival experiences. So, improved experiences is what we will call it. We'll jump back over and remind ourselves, oh, that's right, don't forget, this is the same as your problem. Deaths, police state, and shutdown. So let's see how we phrased it here. Death rate, police state, shutdown. As a matter of fact, let's just do this. Copy it, bring it over, paste it. Boom. Good enough. Now we want sort of a happier image here because we're lowering the death rate. We are reducing the chances of going into a police state, and we are preventing shutdowns. So maybe let's just add those words in to be very clear. Lower death rate, reduce police state, and avoid shutdown. So let's find something that makes us think of that. I mean, you could go with any one of these. Happy Music Festival. See what we get. Oh wait, hold on. Did you notice? Breakaway is the top one there. I'm sure that's chronological, but that's okay. We're gonna say that we're known for that. Hey, white people. Let's see what else we can find here. They look like they're having a good time. Drinking their Reds apple ale. That one just seems. This is good, I guess. I mean, it's usable. Jump back. I would like some more diversity. That'll work. It's got watermarks on it, so that will not work. Okay, let's do this. That would work. Great. Oops, let's get out of the box. Paste it on. Very large image, which is a good thing. Let's make it slightly smaller. And now we should be okay. Great. Next up, we have the review slide, which is going to be the same as this one. So let's go ahead and copy the text box. Instead of topics to cover, I'm just going to say, wow, topics covered. There they are. We had a music festival image, so let's find something else. We'll go with that one. There. Paste that will work. Great. Just want to check the position of this real quick. There, that's actually in the center. Good. Almost last. We've got our closure, which we go back to the attention getter. So here's our friend, Reese. So let's see if we can find something that goes along with our story. Let's refresh our story. What happened to Reese? Fractured his skull, was rushed to the safe zone, stabilized, made a recovery, and now he's helping others. Okay. What if we do... Gosh, I'm almost scared to search for fractured skull. Prepare yourself what we're going to get here. Ooh. Let's just do head wound patient. Hopefully, again, it won't be anything too graphic, but we want something that draws attention to the head. Maybe this. Okay, it's got this wise geek line over here, but it's pretty effective. Well, here's another version of it. We'll take that one. Oops, that's not what I want. Copy the actual image, jump back over. Obviously, this one will not take up the entire slide, but that's pretty close. What you'll want to do now, instead of having this sort of weird color scheme going on in the back, is we will want to format the background again like we did earlier. So to do that, slide background on format, hide the graphics, and that's all you need. For the picture, we'll go ahead and double click that, hit arrange, align it center. There, that'll work. Then our call to action. Let's remind ourselves once again, contact event organizers or your favorite festival and ask them to take action today. So since everyone is in this area, we could do breakaway. Let's get an image for breakaway. This would do it. There's multiple breakaways, so let's do Grand Rapids. I'd like to get, we don't need necessarily a list, an artist list poster, but let's see what this one looks like. That will work. We'll copy that image, jump back over, and let's get rid of the text boxes. Let's make it blank. Let's put it in there, stretch it out. We will format the background. Whoops. Sorry. There we go. Hide the graphics. Let's stretch it out just a little more to make it top to bottom. We can align it center, align it middle, and we've got it. We're done. So that is the entirety of what your PowerPoint should do. Less is more with PowerPoint. This is a tool for your audience. On this blank slide, I'm going to go ahead and make that black altogether and get rid of those backgrounds. So I'm not going to give you the speech. You've seen that. But what I will do is show you the slideshow. So here's when I would start out talking about Reese, and Reese was, a great student. And in fact, he was doing so wonderful in school. And then you see Reese doing so wonderful. But he liked to party and he liked to have a good time. And so, party, good time. Then, of course, here's the intro. What you'll notice here is you'll want to keep this up while you're saying, hi, my name's Carl, and today I'll talk to you about drug use in music festivals. By the end of this speech, you should, your thesis statement and your relevance, you should care about this topic because of this and this. Now, when you get ready to talk about the preview, today we will cover drugs, safety, and future festivals. So to begin, let's start out with drugs. Drugs and overdose, and then you get right to it. After you finish with that one, so now that we know that drugs and overdosing is a problem at music festivals, let's talk about how we can increase the safety. Remember with this one, this needs to be a step-by-step plan. So while we've got the 3 key things we want to do on the screen, you want to include more details orally. So you might include things like, we're going to create educational posters. In order to do that, we're going to start an organization of students and festival goers that are going to take donations from wherever you want them to come from. And that's how we're going to pay for these posters. Then when we do that, we're going to share those with conference organizers or ticket sales, like, Ticketmaster or whoever, and get them to chip in money for safe zones, or at least try. And then, of course, we will find, we want to create a mobile app, and you could probably talk about how with all the music fans out there, there's likely to be a app developer who will do this for free because he or she wants to contribute to the music festival scene. That way, you've covered your bases in terms of not just what you want to do, but how you might do them. Then, when you get here, of course, you're going to go right back to those problems and say, we solved them. If this goes through, we'll have a lower death rate. Why? Well, because now there's posters, and maybe folks won't do as many drugs because they're at least thinking about the danger. If they do, there's a safe zone which may be able to, save them or get them into a very safe spot like a hospital. And of course, the app is for those folks who may have already, fallen down or even are unconscious, but now at least the folks from the safe zone can find them in the crowd. Reduce the police state because you have fewer deaths. That's a clear connection. And when you have fewer deaths and the police aren't always around, you can avoid being shut down. Again, we covered this, and this. Or actually, remember here, there is some stuff that comes between your third main point and your review. This is going to be where you say, so now that you've heard this speech, you should agree that we need to do this. It's okay to go ahead and talk about that stuff and then leave this up until you finish covering those specific topics. Then you can just move to the closure. So as I said before, our friend Reese here fell down and fractured his skull. But now he is fine, and he is urging us all to go to festivals and do it responsibly. In fact, I want you to contact Breakaway Music Festival organizers because they're huge in Grand Rapids, and then tell them what you want them to do. Is it just send an email? That's enough. That's all it needs to be. Sign a petition, visit a website, and become more educated on the dangers of drugs at music festivals. Whatever. There's not a hard wrong way, as long as your call to action is immediate and realistic. Okay, that's the key thing. And with that, we're done with the PowerPoint. Right now, I will go ahead and post this up on our Blackboard site. Again, the template is there. I know you haven't turned in your outline. Well, actually, yeah, those outlines are in. I will have those back to you if you're watching it early by the end of the week. Otherwise, let me know what questions you have. And don't worry about the PowerPoint yet. Get through your delivery of your first persuasive before you even start on your PowerPoint. I want you to really focus on a quality delivery that you don't have to rely heavily on notes. Go back and look at that feedback from the first speech. And if you're watching this after after this first persuasive speech, go back and look at all your feedback from both speeches and let that help you plan what you're really going to focus on to finish strong in the class. All right, this will be up soon. Thanks for listening.